Hello and welcome to a video about Luna Classic. Well, this is not a video I would normally do. I've been asked to do this and therefore I decided to do it. But it's probably not a coin that I'm going to update regularly, but I'm sure it would interest a few people here and there. It's a bit of a controversial topic, of course, but I'm purely looking at this from a chart point of view, from a technical point of view. And what I can tell you is that this chart here, and this is not the Luna Classic chart, this is obviously it is sort of before the crash, the chart, and this could be counted corrective, I used to say when I looked at Luna that it was always a bit of a messy chart. The chart looked different to many other cryptos, and indeed, you can count it corrective from an Elliott Wave point of view. Now, this of course is easy to say that looking back, right? But it indeed is the case, and I'm also telling you that, for example, about AVAX, the AVAX chart looks very similar, with the exception it didn't drop to zero. But we need to be careful with coins that have a chart that can be counted easily as corrective wave pattern, which would suggest that an impulse to the downside is following. It doesn't have to follow because you can usually also find a bullish wave count. The question is always which one is the more likely one. And if I have a chart where the corrective wave count is at least not very unlikely, and then you have a fundamental issue like the one that we had with Terra Luna, that meets a chart like that, it can completely smash it. So I'm therefore warning you about AVAX. Of course it doesn't need to crash down, but it is also an issue that we have on the chart. So we can count this, obviously looking back, for everybody who's interested. It doesn't matter that much now because we are going to go into the lower level wave count here of the Luna Classic token or coin since the rebirth. But for anybody who might ask, that's why I just want to show you here. We had here a wave A, a wave B, and all of this was a wave C, and then an impulse down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And it crashed basically to below start price, basically. And it now has, also from a chart point of view, it now has a chance to recover. Because this is when you have a corrective wave pattern like this, you have to go below the below the start price, below the launch price, basically. And this is obviously what happened. And then a coin has a chance to recover, which doesn't mean it will need to, it can do, but it has the chance. And now, again, how likely that is, if a coin once was priced at $120, and you're now looking at a fraction of a cent, not even, that's obviously difficult. But just to mention, this is probably from a chart point of view then, if it crashes that much, the best what can happen to a chart like that it then crashes that much because it has a new chance to recover, basically. But of course, we are far away from that, and we want to take a look at this purely from a technical point of view. And again, this is nothing that I chose, this request came out of the community. All right, so what we do, we just set this scene here, for beginning after rebirth, basically. So we can look at this crash down here. This was basically the lowest point from which we started to emerge. What you normally see, And by the way, we have a very short chart history, of this move. We have a very short chart history, but there's a few clues from a technical point of view we can get out of this. Bear in mind, take it with a bit of a pinch of salt, because we don't have a lot of chart history, and really we are at a price level where, from a sentiment point of view, this is totally crashed. This is, from a sentiment point of view, this is basically over. But as I said, it has a chance to recover, and the chance might be now. So looking at this from the beginning again, we can, which is good, we can count an impulse to the upside here, which is good. And we can probably see that better if we go to maybe the 15-minute chart, because I want to do this in detail, just to do that properly here. And we can count this as a 5-wave move up. So at least after the low, we see a first impulse, which is a good sign, which might be a sign for a trend reversal. I mean, to be honest, if we didn't see an impulse up here, it would be a disaster, because that would mean that Luna has to drop, or Luna Classic has to drop even more. But we can see a first move up. This could be a move up, down, then the wave 2 down, yeah. Then here a wave 3 up, a wave 4 down, and a wave 5 up. Absolutely valid count, where you can count the wave 3 in itself also as 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an absolute valid impulsive move to the upside. From here then, we entered a long correction. So this is a more complex wave pattern. How this emerged in detail is not too relevant, but we just try to get to the right here adjustment level. But we can see this obviously as a more complex correction. Now, what this could have been, for example, where's the WXY? It could be a WXY where you came down, up, down. It could have been the WX, and then here to the low, the Y. Yeah. Let me just think. Or even you could argue, you know, was it maybe here? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter much. What is crucial now? Yeah, what is crucial now is that this was the low. Yeah, and this low, the wave Y here, was higher than this one, which is already a good sign, because in the end, what we can count this like is this here was then a wave 1. And this down here was a wave 2. So what happened afterwards? Afterwards, let me just see. Probably again, the problem is then we have to probably go to the lower level wave count again, just to see what actually happened here. And yeah, this is again an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, we can count this as another wave 1 to the upside. And again, I go to the 1 hour chart. Sorry if I flip around a little bit, but if I count this, I want to do this properly, you know. So this is then what you have to come to the conclusion now. If this was a 1 and this a 2, then we have to assume that we are now in a wave 3. Nope, not like that. And we can also calculate the length of the target that we need to reach to really here create a wave 3. Oops. So I have to adjust it a little bit in a second. Because if we do it, we want to do it as accurately as possible. So then we get to the target here of the wave 3 that would need to be here. I don't even know how to read this. 96842, yeah, with 3 zeros before that, all right? So this is where the wave 3 would need to go to as a minimum. Yeah, so there's a long way to go, but it would mean we make a new high, yeah, higher than the wave 1, of course. And we might now be, as you can see here, we might have completed the wave 1. This was another wave 2 low here. And we might now be in a wave 3 of the wave 3 in the very early stages. So this is how this is looking for me from an Elliott wave point of view. So it could really be that we are in this wave 3, but it has a long way to go and a few things need to happen for that. Now this move up is already quite promising because it is starting to move up, yeah. And it seems like it has bottomed out here somewhere, okay? That is how it looks like at the moment. We see more volume come in, yeah, which would confirm the thesis here that the low could have been in for Luna Classic. to confirm that best indication, honestly, for that would probably be if we go above this swing high here at 22,396 with, again, 3 zeros before it. Yeah, so we have got a very, very important resistance level here at 22,396. Then here there is another important one at 18,779. This is sort of a bit of a resistance zone. And I would say, I mean, we are very close now below resistance here. But if we break above this, then there will not be much more until we reach this level here at 51320. And then here the wave 1 high at 60019. So these are sort of the key resistance levels. There's basically two key resistance zones. So two options here. First of all, let's take a look. If we get rejected here at this first zone between 18,779 and 22396, if we get rejected, we can obviously come down to one of these previous supports again. For example, here 10250. Yeah, depends on how much we then get rejected. But this is obviously the first rejection point that will probably be occurring here. So we need to get above this first resistance level, and we are just below resistance. So from my point of view, this is a level we now need to wait if this gets broken. If it gets broken, this could of course be traded. Now, no financial advice, but this could be traded. And this would be a good indication that we indeed are in the wave 3. And bear in mind, if we really are in a wave 3, even if you wait for a breakout above the resistance level, there would still be a profit here of how much? Let me just double check. A profit to at least the target here, the 1.618 extension, would be possible of 320%. Okay. However, profit to the first target, which would be this one here at 51320, just roughly, would also, well, 126%, not bad, yeah, because you can expect if we go above this level here, that we will get rejected there as well. Yeah, so these are two key levels that obviously would need to be overcome, but of course they can be traded, yeah. And then if we go above this level, it's nearly as if we were going to a new all-time high. Well, it is sort of a new all-time high for Luna Classic since the rebirth. Okay, so this is something we need to be very, very much aware of. These key levels here, they need to be overcome. Unfortunately, I can't really add moving averages here because they are sort of messed up with the previous chart history. But looking here from an indicator point of view, very dynamic, of course, at the moment, but you can see here on the 1 hour chart, even here, Luna Classic in a strong uptrend based on the ADX. The RSI also in the bullish range. And we can go maybe to the 4 hour chart. Let's see what is actually relevant to us. But yeah, it has certainly moved up here also on the 4 hour chart into a strong uptrend here as well. ADX, strong uptrend. Yeah. So from that point of view, this is looking, first of all, positive. Considering the circumstances, I also have to say that, yeah, considering these circumstances. 4 hour, let's see how the 8 hour looks like. So here, see, that's the problem with these indicators here. But it's also starting to pick up on the 8 hour now, the RSI. Yeah, massively here, basically, I've never seen such a low RSI, I think. But this is starting to pick up. And also here, the ADX lines, the directional indicator lines, they are starting to move closer together, which is a good sign. On the 8 hour, I believe on the daily, we're not going to see much yet. No. But this would be the next one that would then probably turn in, yeah. But we can already see this on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour. And this is so far giving at least hope, yeah, carefully, right? But again, these two levels need to be overcome. I personally would not buy, if I'm not involved in Luna Classic at all, yeah. But if I wanted to trade it, I would not trade this long now. I would wait for this breakout above this resistance line, yeah. Of course, you could speculate. It's just a trade setup idea, no financial advice. If you see we get rejected here at this resistance level, you can of course short this one. Yeah, if you're interested in this. First target would be the previous swing low. Now, until we get there, maybe we will get another swing low. But there is certainly here a target of around 13150 for a possible short, just as one option. Yeah, but again, going long just below resistance, I wouldn't do it. I would wait what happens here, and if there is a breakout, this can be traded within a range here between these levels. Okay, and that is pretty much everything I can tell you from an Elliott Wave point of view here about Luna Classic. Also here, yeah, I mean, looking at this, if this was a wave 1, and I'm back on the 4-hour chart, maybe go to the 1-hour chart. If this was a wave 1 and here we came down in a wave 2, I mean, you can count this as an impulse as well. So somewhere from one of the lows here, but certainly a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. Yeah, so this was a 5-wave move, which means this was also a wave 1. Came down here in a wave 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was then a 3, a 4, a 5. Yeah. So again, this would suggest we're probably here in a bit of a corrective wave at the moment. A, B, C. Yeah, before we move higher, and then we'll be able to address this resistance area. So I think we're going to get to this resistance area at some point here. The question is, how are we going to react? And to be fair, this is moving up quite strongly at the moment, so it will be interesting to see the reaction here. And if we blast through this, then there is a potential obviously to get to the next resistance area. And if we go through this, next target would be the wave 3, and then we can really not at the moment project this out further, but this would only be the wave 3. You would then expect something like a 20 to 30% correction in a wave 4 before we move up once more in a wave 5, even higher. Okay, but if we do it in that wave degree, then we are already looking at some promising developments here, to be honest, and there could be a real chance that Luna Classic is getting a revival. Okay, that's my view about Luna Classic. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.